Okay, hello everybody. I decided to go ahead and shoot a video to explain a little bit about this aquaponics system, the setup I made, and let you guys know a little bit what it's about and how it works. I'm shooting with my cell phone because it's just easier that way. But okay, so here's the grow beds. Obviously, grow beds have gravel in it. That's all it is, pea gravel. And it's full of pea gravel. You can see on the side here, which I should have painted these, but because algae might grow. But anyway, so this is water right here. You can see the water level. It slowly starts to rise, and it'll rise to about here, and then it'll auto siphon out and just completely, and it'll empty itself out. So what happens is you just, it's easy to plant things in this. And then just below the surface you can see it's wet there is where all the water comes up, and the roots are always getting water and nutrients. And nothing grows on top here because it's always dry. Oops. It's always dry, so I don't have to worry about weeds. If I do see a weed, like one guy online, he saw a weed once in like 4 months. And then he just pulled it out and he threw it in his fish tank. So, here's the idea. These are constantly being fed water. There's a pump down here. Down there, that's the pump. And these two right here go to these two beds. And these are where water's constantly coming out. And this one goes to this bed, and this one goes to the fish tank right there. And these beds constantly fill up, and they empty. You see one's emptying right now, and that's auto siphon. What happens is I built these bell siphons. I'll show you one. I'll show you this one. So it's just PVC pipe with a bunch of holes drilled into it. You see the holes on the bottom, and that's just a cap on top. And then there's a pipe down there, and that's about, I'd say about 3 inches tall. And this is a guard just to keep the gravel out of this. That's all it is. And once this water gets to the top of this, it'll start pouring down in there. And then once it gets to a certain height, it starts creating a suction, and it just sucks it all out until there's no more water left, and then it just repeats the cycle. So what's happening is the pump goes constantly, and it's going, you can see right here, it's being fed constantly. All of them have that. Now the other pipe that goes to the fish tank, it's a small pipe here, and it goes into this, which will be, there's no fish in it right now. There'll be about 50 fish in here. I'm going to first start off with catfish because of the time of the year that we started with. The catfish will hold up much better than trout. The water's going to be too warm. I got a thermometer in there. Water's going to be too warm for rainbow trout, so I'll have to do that in the wintertime. But what happens is water constantly fed in here, and if you see this pipe here, it goes all the way down to the bottom, and there's a cap on it. And there's a bunch of holes in the bottom of that cap, and it's sucking water up by gravity, and then it pushes out this 2-inch pipe, goes all the way down, back, all the way to where it started. And so what this pipe's for is it will suck all the fish solids straight up out of here and in there, and then into the grow beds. Now what I'm doing right now is I'm doing what's called a fishless cycle, because we planted these and it doesn't have any of the good bacteria in it yet. In order to get that good bacteria, you need some ammonia, and the fish could have provided the ammonia, but in order to cycle your system with fish, you have to put very little bit of fish in there, and then you'll wait for like 6 weeks before it'll cycle. I mean, cycling means you just observe, you can tell by testing your water what good bacteria is in there. So what I'm doing is I'm adding ammonia, just regular ammonia I found at a grocery store, and I put it in there to a certain level, and I'll just keep doing that, and it should cycle anywhere from 10 days to a couple of weeks, completely cycle without the fish, which is good because it won't stress the fish, and you don't have the chance of killing the fish, because if the ammonia gets too high, the fish die. So what happens is fish poop, make ammonia, and in here, these beds, there's two different kinds of bacteria. Well, there's all kinds of different kinds, but those are the two ones that make this work. Bacteria eat, one kind of bacteria eats the ammonia and turns it into nitrites. The other bacteria eats the nitrites and turns it into nitrates. And the nitrates are eaten by the plants. And then the bacteria and the plants replenish the water for the fish, cleans their water, makes them happy, and they make the plants happy. It's a cycle. It's all a little ecosystem. And these plants will grow twice as fast than if you plant them in the ground. And you can pack them in pretty densely. If you can see how dense, look at all these tomatoes here. Look at all this stuff here. You can pack it real dense. The reason is, the science behind it is because the roots are constantly getting replenished by water. So the water just constantly goes from here all the way up, go back down, up and down, up and down. Fills up every 15 minutes. They're constantly getting replenished by the nutrients and water, so they don't have to fight for it. So the roots don't have to grow completely insane and smother out all the other plants, and they grow twice as fast. And let's see here, what else? I guess that's it. Oh, and then the beds, whenever the water lowers, provides oxygen to the plants, but it also oxygenates the fish tank. Same goes for when these empty out, they provide aeration. That's constant aeration, that's constantly being provided. And I have to add some air stones yet, because the fish need a lot more oxygen than this. So I'll add that later whenever I add the fish, which will probably be in a couple of weeks. And that's that. And then I'll show you guys later what it looks like in a couple of weeks, the difference. We planted these 6 days ago. They're transplants. Karen actually grew all these in these dirt things, they were all over the place, and we transplanted them about 6 days ago. And I also bought some other plants. Bought some chili, jalapeno pepper, bell peppers. I got some strawberries. That's a watermelon, baby watermelon. Basil, some let's see here, sweet mint, which makes it smell nice, and we can make some mojitos. We got some kale growing. This is all this. Everything else was grown by Karen, which is awesome. I've also got some seeds growing in the windowsill. You can't see it right now, but I filled up these canisters full of sand, and I put water in it, and the seeds, of course, water, and something called seaweed extract. And that's the only thing that goes in here, besides the ammonia and some hydrochloric acid to bring the pH down, but that's not very often. But that's the only, and that's all organic stuff. No chemicals in here. That's just pure ammonia, pure hydrochloric acid. You could do lemon juice if you wanted to, but it's not going to bring this pH down, because I did a mistake well, it's not a mistake. I didn't know what kind of gravel I had until they showed up with it, and it has these little seashells in it, and that's not good, because what happens is the pH stays high all the time. The fish will like it. The plants don't like it so much because they can't get all the nutrients. It locks it out. But people are still growing it successful at those high levels, and that's okay. So here it is. Here's my system, and we'll see what it looks like in a couple weeks. Thanks.